see if you bastards can do 90.
Alright, got a new little stand for my camera. Hopefully it works out pretty good. Haven't done a review in a while. I actually saw this movie last Wednesday. It's Neighbors. New movie. Comes out actually next weekend. But I got to see an advanced screening of it. Got to see it at the Alamo Drafthouse. To do a cool thing if you're a member of their rewards program. It's called a Victory program or whatever. You get to see free movies like this. It's really cool, and the best thing is you have to wait in line. Usually there's a big line that forms because it's first come, first serve kind of thing for early screenings. But if you're a member of this rewards program, you get to wait and just get to hang out in the bar and wait, and they'll come get you, and you get to go in early. So it's pretty cool. I like it when they do those. And like I said, they did this one last Wednesday, but the movie actually doesn't come out till next weekend. So this will be a good early review. And I typically don't see comedies in the theater just because you don't really miss out on much if you don't see it in the theater. You know, it's just as good at your house. It's not like a big action movie where you want to see all the big explosions and everything and on a big screen. But sometimes it's fun to see them in the theater with other people. But usually I just wait to watch it later at home. And this one looked pretty good. I haven't seen Seth Rogen movie in a while. I didn't see his last one, This Is the End. I still haven't seen that yet. So, I was interested. Give it a try. See how it is. Looked like it wouldn't be too bad. It's directed by a guy named Nicholas Stoller. He did Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Him to the Greek. Those comedies. And, of course, it stars Seth Rogen. So, Superbad, Knocked Up, Pineapple Express. Most people are familiar with Seth Rogen. He's really funny. And also, Zac Efron is the other lead. Most notable for High School Musical and stuff like that. And he did 17 again. Kind of like a Freaky Friday type movie where his body is switched, you know, his old body to young body type thing. That movie actually was pretty funny. That's the only movie with him I've really seen. And he did a movie earlier this year. I don't think it did very good with some other kind of up-and-coming younger guys like Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan. Let's see, it was called That Awkward Moment. I don't think that did very well. But anyways, I think he's a pretty decent actor for what I've seen him in. I thought it would be a good movie. So the story centered around Seth Rogen and his wife. His wife is played by Rose Byrne. Probably know her from Bridesmaids, which she was okay in that. She was the one getting married, I believe. I didn't really like that movie, but I know her mostly from X-Men First Class. She was in that, which is a really good movie. And then she's also in the Insidious horror movies. I haven't seen those. But she seems like a good actress. So Rose Byrne and Seth are married. Their names are Mark and Kelly Radner. And they have a baby girl named Stella, and so they're new parents, but they're, you know, still young, and everything like that. And of course, what happens? A frat starts to move into the house next to them, and they don't want to deal with the partying and everybody being loud, especially with their new daughter and everything like that. So that's pretty much the whole plot, is them trying to get rid of the frat guys, and the frat guys, you know, fighting back. So there's not really much else to the plot. I guess this might actually end up being a pretty short review, because there's not really a whole lot to go into with the plot-wise. Some of the other frat guys. So Zac Efron's name is Teddy. He's the president of the frat, and his vice president is Pete, played by Dave Franco. James Franco's younger brother. He is in 21 Jump Street, Warm Bodies, a couple other things. I think he's getting more and more bigger roles. He's a pretty good actor too, and he's funny. And then along with them is Christopher Mintz-Plasse, played McLovin from Superbad, and he's in Kick-Ass movies, a couple other things. And he's one of the other frat guys, and he has a pretty small role. He doesn't really get involved too much, but he's funny in his limited role. There's a couple other guys that you might recognize. that play Mark and Kelly's friends, but they're not really big name actors or anything like that. So, I guess there's not really a whole lot to describe. The frat moves in. At first, they try to be cool and just, they're like, well, we'll make friends with them, and if they know we're cool, they'll calm down and not be as loud and everything like that. But they go over there, party with them one night, and then the frat kind of has some dirt on them and can blackmail them with, and eventually Mark and Kelly are just tired of all the partying in the middle of the week and everything, and so then it's like all-out war. They're just going at each other. Mark and Kelly and their friends trying to get them kicked out of the house and expelled or whatever they can, and then the frat doing everything in a limited sense to get back at them and just, have fun, really. They don't really care too much about Mark and Kelly. They just want to do their own thing as a frat, and that's enough for them, pretty much. And there's a little bit of a side story with Teddy and Pete. So Zac Efron and Dave Franco's characters. Mostly about, I guess, Teddy kind of just being a party guy and doesn't really have as much ambition in life after college. And Pete's really smart. He has more of a future and everything like that. But that's really just kind of sort of hinted at later. And really, the dramatic parts of the whole movie are just kind of used as filler. That doesn't really matter. Their little side story. And Mac and Kelly really don't have much else going on besides, they have a daughter. Their whole story is just trying to get this frat out. So any sort of dramatic moments or attempts to be dramatic or never really pay off at all or anything like that. And you just ignore them. They don't really matter. But anyways, it's a comedy, and it's pretty funny. There are some really funny parts. It's, it's pretty raunchy. It's rated R. There was a family sitting next to me, and it was just kind of funny because they had a little kid, a young kid. He was probably like 8 or 9. And there's some nudity, some boobs or whatever, and it was just funny because I could see the mom making him like close his eyes or look down at the ground, and I was kind of laughing. And there is some other more explicit comedic moments. I guess I won't say too much about it, and yeah, some of the actual jokes there, some of them are pretty juvenile. They're not, super highbrow comedy or anything like that, but overall, it's pretty funny. I was laughing, so unfortunately, I guess you kind of expect a movie like Superbad or Knocked Up or even Pineapple Express when you see a Seth Rogen movie. And those movies have really good stories to tell, and they are somewhat dramatic, and they're driven by, a certain storyline, and they pay off in multiple ways. And this movie just doesn't really have that. You don't really care about much. You just kind of want to see these two different groups feud with each other. The young parents who are out of the party scene, and then the frat guys. And there's not really much to it, which is unfortunate. So don't go into it expecting a really intelligent comedy, I guess. It's not anything super exciting for that in that sense. But I think it is pretty good for people my age. I guess I appreciated it a bit, especially from Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne's, their character, Mac and Kelly's point of view, because, I'm kind of getting older to that age where I'm not partying crazy like these frat guys and stuff like that. So, and then I know I have friends that I've talked to and stuff like that. Many of my friends with kids, young kids, I think they'll appreciate it quite a bit, and they'll think it's pretty funny just because of some of the stuff they do. So I think it helps to be in that age bracket, to understand their perspective, their side of the story. And it makes it a little bit funnier, I would assume. It did for me. So yeah, I think that's most of it for my review. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5, so not horrible, but nothing great. I don't think you'd have to really go out and see it in the theater. I don't know if there's any other comedies coming out around this time because I'm not really plugged into the comedy as much. But I think you could probably wait for this one to come out when it's in on demand or on Redbox or Netflix. Maybe not Netflix; it'd take a while. But yeah, I don't think it's a rush out to the theater type of movie. The movie connections I made was, of course, Knocked Up. This is kind of actually seems like a continuation of Knocked Up. So that movie, Seth Rogen gets the girl pregnant, and then they have the kid at the end, and then this is, maybe a couple months down the line where they're getting more serious and trying to raise the kid actually, and then they have to deal with the party scene. It kind of flows together a little too conveniently. And then also there's the old school aspect because of the actual frat and the partying, but instead of an older group of guys setting up a frat, it's actual young frat guys versus the young parents or whatever. But those two movies are leaps and bounds better than this movie in my opinion. So yeah, I think that'll be it. Decent comedy. I'd wait for it to come out on video. So I think that'll do it. I don't have a sign off for this one. I don't think I could really think of anything. Unfortunately, I saw it over a week ago, so nothing's really sticking in my mind. So I think that'll be it for today. All right.